If you're like the rest of the world and you are feeling the pressure of this market that we have never seen before, and you're asking yourself, what is going on? I never expected real estate to be so challenging, and I don't even know what I'm going to do. Then this episode of Agents in the Trenches is exactly what you need to listen to. Let me just break it down for you. 192 listings taken, signed on in 2025. That is approximately 16 listings per month or 4 per week. Imagine if you were able to learn the math behind this madness of high level performance. Imagine if you had the precise tour guide that can lead you into becoming a lean, mean listing machine. Yes, in a market where most real estate agents are weak in their listing muscle. Well, guess what? Stop scrolling, join us, grab something to drink because I am bringing to you the woman behind these high level numbers. That's right. Today, we are going to have a deep dive conversation. And not only was she able to take 192 listings in the year 2025, she traveled to Europe twice. She went on a cruise for 1 week. My friends, she enjoyed life because there's more to real estate than just listing property. But you know what? When you list property, you last because you've got to list the last. So I am super excited to bring my dear colleague and now friend, Maria Patrone, to this stage for us to learn about her unimaginable accomplishments. Welcome, Maria. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Lucy, and thanks for having me this morning. Excited to talk about the journey and all things real estate.
Yes, Maria. My heart just swells with gladness when I hear these numbers. But let's kick it off by you telling everyone a little bit about who is Maria Quattrone.
So thank you, Lucy. I am Maria Quattrone. I've been in the real estate industry for 23 years. This is year 23. And prior to this, I was an advertising account executive. I sold radio advertising for 11 years. So I've been in sales world a very, very, very long time. In fact, I would say I started as young as 10 years old, door knocking my neighbors, selling wrapping paper and Christmas cards door to door at 10.
Wow. So you are a natural.
Well, I think there's something about natural talent, but I think there's something also about just making a decision, making a commitment, and being consistent and doing the work when it's dark out. I had a conversation with a colleague this morning at 7 a.m. He had texted, he's like, "Are you up?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm up." And when I was talking and I said, this year has been a very challenging one thus far. And it can be super frustrating. But you know what? It's in the dark where the stars shine.
There you go.
It's in the dark where the stars shine. So it's when it's dark out, you do the work and you just keep going and you just keep following the process because we cannot control the outcome. We can only control the process. And I live my life by design. I designed my real estate career around my life and what I want to do and how I want to do it. And ultimately, math is the path. So and I say this all the time, whether you want to do listings or buyers, but I 100% focus on listings. I would say from last year, I may have had a few buyer sales. They probably bought my listing, a couple other buyer sales, but generally speaking, I only do listings.
Wow.
And so understanding the math is absolutely critical. So you need to know where you are right now to know where you're going. And if I can share some stats with you, I pulled what the numbers were for 2025. I can usually go back, in 2023, I took 130 listings. In 2024, I took 160 listings. And then in 2025, I did 192. So
I got to tell everybody that's watching because they need to pay attention. We are talking about 192 listings in 1 year. We're talking about a woman that took 2 trips to Europe. I saw you enjoying your life with your hubby. And you said something very powerful, and I want to say it, I want to reiterate it because I believe that we need to understand and be crystal clear. Not only is real estate the most powerful vehicle on the planet to be able to reach financial freedom, but you said, I have designed the life I want to live, and obviously real estate, funds, finances gives you the options to live that life. Can you break down a little bit more? Because I think that real estate people do not understand the power of the vehicle that they have at their disposal. Can you break that down? How did you even understand that this is, here's what I'm going to do, design my life?
I left the corporate world 23 years ago because I wanted financial freedom to have the ability to make as much money as I wanted to. And so that's why I left my career in advertising sales. Because at the time, by most people's standards, I was making a good living with a 401k, with benefits paid. And I said, you know what? I want to do more. I want to be able to do something where I can connect with more people. And when I found out about real estate, a good friend of mine introduced me to real estate. I was like, well, okay, everybody needs a house or an apartment or something. You need to lay your head down somewhere. And so I decided early on, I think within 2 years, I decided that I wanted to be a listing agent. And I focused and mastered it. And I mastered it early on by working with expired listings. And to this day, I still target expired listings as part of on my platform. And my mantra is to be the solution. And I came up with be the solution as my mantra because I thought back to, and this came to be, in fact, tomorrow's my anniversary of 6 years of my podcast, Be the Solution. And it came because of the pandemic. And the name Be the Solution came because what do we do as, how do we help our clients? And I said, well, we're the solution. We figure out the solution to their challenge. Challenge is the house isn't sold. Why isn't the house sold? What is the problem? What are the things that we can fix? Is it just price? Is it marketing? Is it the house? Is it all these things? And looking at all these things and diving deep and really understanding the psychology behind working with sellers, the psychology behind working with people who are transacting one of the greatest transactions financially in their life, which is their house. And also working with sellers and working with them to help them understand that as soon as they can remove the emotion from the sale is going to make them more money. And when you remove the emotion from the sale, as if, it's future pacing the sellers, you have already moved. You are now living in Florida next to your grandkids that you wanted to be next to. That's the most important thing. So imagine somebody else is already living in your home. The new buyer bought it already. It's our job to present this house the best way that we can to get you to Florida with the most money possible in your pocket. And so understanding the psychology behind it, being able to walk sellers through this path in a confident, not arrogant, but a confident way with empathy and care. And I can never convince somebody to sell their house.
Right.
I just follow the process. And if I can share some numbers with you.
Yes.
Here's the stats for 2025. Calls made, 5,079 calls made. That's how many dials happened in 2025. Connected to 2,493 connects to 1,024 people. Conversations, 1,849 conversations with 851 people. 342 seller consults, 159 listing appointments, 305 hours on the phone led to 192 listings taken. Now,
Wow.
what made me go from 160 to 192?
Mm-hmm.
In March of last year, I did a challenge. And my challenge was to do 100 listing appointments in 1 month.
Okay.
I ended up doing 132. And here's how I broke it down. I knew that for every 4.5 conversations, I can set a listing appointment.
Okay.
Averages in the industry is between 8 and 12. Every 8
Mm-hmm.
conversations, you can set an appointment. Mine is 4.5.
Okay.
This is why you need to understand what your numbers are. It doesn't matter if it's 20 conversations that you have to make to set one appointment. Fine,
Mm-hmm.
20, that's your number. It could be 50, that's your
Right.
number. But you
Mm-hmm.
need to know your number. So if I know that it's 4.5, that means that I had to be having 25 appointments a week, 25 appointments a week, which Monday to Friday is 5 appointments a day, which is 5 hours on the phone a day to set the appointment. So
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, because every property is one appointment. So if somebody had 3, that's 3 appointments, because I had to do 3 sets of comps, right?
Okay.
So the numbers of people might be smaller, but maybe they had more properties to sell. And I look at it and say, okay, I know that math is the path. We know that conversations equals closings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you have to have more conversations to have more closings. You have to get better at speaking with people on the phone and in person. Now, those appointments mainly happened on the phone.
Okay.
I'm actually able to do seller consults on the phone. Now, sometimes I go to the property. Sometimes I go to the property after I've signed them as a client. They've already engaged me. So it just depends on the person, where they are. I have clients that live in Seattle, selling houses here, California, Las Vegas, all over the country. And some people here are local.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just depends on the property, on the client. Is it a vacant land? Is it commercial? Is it a residential house? Is it a multifamily building, a triplex with 3 tenants? So each situation gets a different process in regards to the appointment, but they all get the same thing. As soon as I book that appointment, they get a calendar request for the appointment time and day. They automatically get an email that goes out that gives them my playbook. Here is my marketing presentation. Here is my press book. Here is a link to my reviews, over 650 reviews on Google. So what I'm doing is future pacing the ability for the appointment to stick. We want the appointment to be sticky. So the appointment is sticky because we've given them information. We put it in their calendar. We also send an automatic, through follow-up calls, an automatic text goes out the morning of the appointment to say your appointment, it goes out at 8:30, your appointment's today at 11 o'clock. Please text me if there's an issue, or whatever it says, something like that. So it comes back to the number one thing, Lucy, is your mindset. Your most expensive real estate is between here and here.
Let's talk about that for a little bit, because for those of you that are joining us just now, tell us where you're watching from. I want everyone to please share this. Listen, we all know a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a colleague that is struggling in their real estate career, because here in Florida, everybody has a real estate license. I remember back in 2005, there was a joke, and it pretty much was the reality. There were more people with real estate licenses than driver's licenses, because everybody got their real estate license back in 2005. But I want to break this down, because you're talking about 192 listings taken in 2025. I heard you say you know your numbers. I mean, I think one of your first numbers was like 1,000 something, or dials. How many dials did you say you had?
5,079.
5,079 dials. That means, the phone's just ringing next. And then you had how many conversations?
conversations initially were connected to 1,024 people, but the conversations over 2 minutes were 851 people. So the 851 people, of those 851 people, was 192 listings.
Okay, so 1024, because this is where people miss the boat. 1024 connection conversations, and you ended up with 192 listings. That's about 12%, 11.5%. A lot of people, because there was still 89% that were not turning into an appointment or turning into something, would have said, this doesn't work.
Well,
Yet,
it's actually 1 in 5. So it's the figure 200 about to 1,000 would be 1 in 5.
so 1 in 5. So most people
3%.
throw in the towel after 2, after 3, after 4. How did you get your state of mind? Because it's a state of mind. You said it's a mindset, yes. And you've got to put yourself in a state of mind, because this is boring work. For anyone that thinks that doing 192 listings in 1 year is like fuzzy, wuzzy, fluffy, I get butterflies and I get all these amazing feelings while I'm doing the hard work. Maria, tell us the truth. It's boring work.
Yes. Day in, day out.
Break it down, because people think I'm supposed to be feeling the fuzzy wuzzies.
No, there's no fuzzy wuzzy. Come on.
But tell them.
You want to get paid? Do you want to make money, or do you want to play games?
Hello.
Do you want to play games, or do you want to earn a good living and have something to show for it? Or do you want to make every excuse of why you can't do it? Because you only have one of two things: results or excuses. Because if you don't have results, it's okay, as long as you follow the process, because eventually you will. 2026 is proving to be a tougher year than 2025 already. We have a lot of stuff going on.
And I've been telling everybody since last year, buckle up, Buttercup. 2026 will be the year of pruning. We are going to see more people either get drowned by the wave of opportunity, because there's still a wave of opportunity, but you've got to know how to ride the wave. Guys, 1,024 conversations, and you end up with 192 listings. But in between, there's a gap. There's a gap when I'm sure you weren't feeling well one day. I'm sure you were stressed out another day. I'm sure you didn't feel the fuzzy wuzzies, or you got bored, or there was a million distractions, or life hit. Tell us the nitty gritty, because this is what Agents in the Trenches is about, the real raw.
Of course. Some days I was sick too. For some of it, I was sick, I think last year, like 3 times maybe, for like not a day, for days.
And you're up north, and it's cold.
And it's miserable up here.
It's snowing.
But here's the thing. I'm a professional.
There you go.
And pros show up.
Pros
don't take the heartache and the disappointment. It's like, how many listings I didn't get? Because of price? Because they didn't want to pay my commission? You know? I did all this work, and this year, right now on my board from January 9th till yesterday, I did 168 appointments for the year so far.
168 appointments so far in the first 90 days. Guys, write these numbers down. For those of us that are still having some type of hallucination that one call a week is going to get us to where we say we want to go, or one open house a week is going to get us to where we want to go, or one conversation when we feel the butterflies and the excitement of, oh, I'm going to call somebody, or answering the phone. Maria, mindset is everything.
Mindset is everything. If you don't have 5 pending deals right now, you should be talking to 20 people a day at minimum. Assuming that for 20 people, you can set 2 appointments. If you have more than that, maybe you can speak to 10 people a day. Depends on what you want. But if you want to have a profitable real estate business, you have to do the work. There is no shiny object. And
Yes.
nobody's coming to save me. Nobody. Not mommy, daddy, nobody. There's nobody. My
The
husband,
government, the interest
nobody,
rates.
nobody's coming. Here's the thing. People will buy and sell regardless of what is going on in the economy. They may take longer to make decisions, so you don't know when the business is going to come, but you must be prepared. I always say in my office, if a $2 million buyer or seller walked through the door, would you be ready to go in that appointment? Are you dressed for success? Is your mindset ready? You know, there's all these little things that I do. And I'll give you an example. I don't wonder every day what I'm eating for lunch. I know what I'm going to eat for lunch. It's prepared already. I'm not going to the Wawa. We have a Wawa here. I don't eat food like that.
We have Wawas too.
Okay. I'm not going to the Wawa. I bring my food from home. I eat I bring from home in the refrigerator. Today, we're having chicken salad. We made it fresh last night, homemade. I make my food. I don't waste money on buying like $15, $20 lunches.
Mm-hmm.
I try to prepare like what I'm wearing. You know, what clothes am I going to wear? I'm not going to stand there and waste half an hour deciding what I'm going to wear in the morning. See, these things it's stacking the deck in your favor.
It's a state of mind.
Stacking the deck in your favor. I believe that if they don't list with me, they're going to, maybe if they're expired, they're going to get a bad experience again. So how do I reach more of those people?
Mm-hmm.
My business comes from my database, Google, expired listings, some course referrals, because I've been in the business a long time, repeat clients.
Mm-hmm.
So at any given time, I'm following up in my database, and I also have people that call into the office. I also have over 2,000 videos on YouTube. Are you being in contribution? Are you sharing your message? Are you showing up every day regardless? One of the biggest things that I see in the industry is that people don't want to do the work.
They don't want to do the work.
They don't want to do the work. And quite frankly, it's kind of tiring saying the same thing over and over and over again. You got to talk to people. Have you ever been to a closing that you didn't have a conversation? How did that closing happen? You had to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if this year is going to be the year of make or break.
Yes, it is.
And the people that survive this year will probably have enough business for the next 10 years of their career.
The people that survive this year, Maria, I am going to declare it, will be the high performers of the next 10 years. Because it's going to take a certain state of mind. It's going to take a certain level of skill sets. Like you just said something very powerful. We keep saying the same thing over and over. You've got to do the work. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be boring. There's growing pains, right? You've got to prepare. You've got to prepare. You cannot wake up on Monday morning drifting like a boat out in the ocean wondering, what am I going to do today? What do I feel like doing? Oh, I don't know. You can't do one conversation, one open house, one follow-up, one text message, one video a week. You just said so far in 2026, for everyone that's watching now and watching later, you have done 168 appointments.
168 appointments, and I did not take 168 listings.
Of course,
so
because anybody
I don't know how many listings I took because I didn't count them. So here, the ones I took, they're either on the market, we're marketing them. Some are already sold. Some are being prepared, like they're getting them cleaned out or whatever the sellers are doing. We're waiting, like they're already signed, but they're not actually, you can't actively sell them. And then I have people already in the funnel for 2027. I think there's 7 sellers for 2027. They're not selling this year for a variety of reasons. tenants, Airbnbs, kids next year graduate, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
life, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that are still on the fence don't know. People that have had emergencies and they have to get back to me, whatever that means. Their emergency could be whatever, could be a real emergency or not a real emergency. I don't
Right.
know. I can't,
Sometimes.
I cannot control any of that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share something with everybody, okay? I'm not perfect, okay? Meaning I have had some miserable weeks this year for like days because I'm doing all this work. And as much business that should be coming in isn't coming in. And it's not because my lack of effort. Some of it's due to the market. So I have to keep going though. And I yesterday I said to myself, okay, I know I've been a little bit crabby, but I still show up and do the work even in my crabbiness,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I resigned myself to is that F the crabbiness. I'm just gonna just say this is what it is. It's a season. Again, another season. Here we go.
Right.
See, here's the thing. I decided to be in this industry.
You decided.
Yeah, I decided. It was my choice. Nobody forced me to get my real estate license and to be in real estate, right? Nobody
Right.
forced you. So I am going to show up with the best, most greatest energy I can for that day that I have in me. I'm going to give it all I got, as always. But this time, I'm going to say this. I'm going to remind myself. Because, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm going to remind myself this too shall pass.
Yes.
And then, it's funny. Yesterday, I woke up with that attitude. And then I got some calls. Oh, I'm ready to sell now. I've already met with these people, by the way. I'm going to come in this week and sign. I want you to meet me at the house tomorrow and go through and we can sign the paperwork. Today I have a listing appointment to 3:30. I've been following up with this seller for, I don't know, a couple months. And then she sends a message back. She's been busy. She's on vacation. Her mom's sick. She's trying to get, she's trying to pack up the house because she has another house she's already living in. And so I'm going there today at 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all because I already did the work.
Of course.
So
See, there's something I wanna say in listening to you. You're obviously a pro. You perform at a pro level. You already know that it's gonna take work, and you're willing to. The life that you've lived, the life that you've designed, the life that you have created is worth the work, right?
it's worth the work. So this year, my plan is to go to Italy for a month
Italy for a month, my friends. Okay,
in October
good.
and mid-October. And I'm going to actually work from there.
Because you can. We can
Because
work from anywhere on the planet now with the world we're living in.
I can.
Yes.
So I'm going to rent like some cool place somewhere. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking Tuscany. And yeah, I'm going to work from there. And I'm not going to work every day, but I'm going to work probably 3 days a week, maybe 4. Who knows? I haven't decided yet. This is supposed to be my vacation, by the way. But maybe 2 weeks I'll take off. Maybe I'll just do the half weeks, and I don't know. But that's what I'm doing. I
But
made
you've
this.
already
It's already in my calendar booked. I was looking at flights yesterday.
in your calendar. Okay, so let's get rid of the elephant in the room, because I honestly think that people don't believe me when I mentor them or coach them. I think they're like hoping for somebody else to show up and tell them the truth, because I think psychologically they're like, no, that's just Lucy, because Lucy, she's so intense, and Lucy's just, so unstoppable, and Lucy lives a perfect life, and Lucy just wants like things that are so big. I don't want things that big. So I think they're waiting for somebody to show up and give them this other truth that does not exist. So let's get rid of the elephant in the room. I work from home. I work from home because that's where I'm most productive. Because I need to be quiet so I can focus. What do you say? Where do you work from?
My office. You work from home. Bullshit. So we get energy when we give energy.
Yes.
And if you're in an office and it's energetic and there's people there working and you're feeding off of their energy, they're feeding off of your energy. Plus, if you're newer in the industry, you need to be around pros. You
Of
need to
course.
be around people so that you can hear the language pattern, the tonality, right? Understanding, these are basic things in sales, understanding personality types, understanding who you're talking to. Because if you're talking like yourself, you're missing 50% of the business. Because
Mhm.
depending on analytical, driver, amiable, expressive, you have to talk to each person in a different way. You have to learn the cadence. There's a cadence to the business. I work from a time block calendar. If it is not in my calendar, it does not happen. In fact, I even have go to Holy Thursday Mass, 7 p.m. on Thursday. Friday, 7 p.m., Stations Over the Cross. And I send the email calendar request to my husband. So he knows.
Right.
We have church. We have dinner. We have whatever. I say, this morning I walked over to my office because I didn't have all my notes with me with the numbers on it. I left it over there. So I walked over there this morning. I wanted to do this podcast here at my house. So I didn't have the noise of the office. That would have been distracted.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't believe that most people work from home efficiently.
Right.
I think maybe if you're 20 years in the business and you're a solo agent and maybe you don't have any assistants or anything like that, and you're a high level performer, sure, there are unicorns. Most of the time, though, working from an office is more efficient. It's even more efficient for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I use my laptop and my desktop and my 3 monitors. I had 3. I couldn't stand the third one. I got rid of it. But I'm using a phone, a laptop, and the monitor all at the same time.
Here's another one. I don't know who to call. I don't have leads. I don't know who to call. And believe it or not, Maria, I've spoken to people that said, well, I'm working on launching a listing program that I'm going to be focusing on. And this was in March. They were working on their listing program that they were going to launch. So there's still people out there that are in, getting ready to get ready. So they're ready. So when they're ready, they can be ready to get ready.
Yes, being done is better than perfect. And starting today. So there's something about being in action. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates deals. And you don't get confidence first. You have courage. You have courage to start. The courage to do the action is what creates the confidence. The reps create the confidence. So it's all about how many times. Listen. You watch pro sports, baseball, basketball, all this stuff. How many shots do they take and how many do they miss?
Right.
Tons and tons and thousands of shots. Thousands. And they still practice. And they still have to go, you practice. Take the shot. You're going to miss. You're going to get it. You don't know. But if you don't do any of that, you do know your answer. And who do you call? Plenty of people. If you don't have people to call, maybe team up with somebody else that does have a big database. I have a 67,000 person database and not enough people working with me. I could use like 100 agents. Maybe 5 good ones would be great. But if you don't, what about door knocking? What about door knocking your neighborhood? Right. What about door knocking and giving them something of value? You can go right into the RPR, which we all have for free, create market trend reports. It takes literally 2 minutes to do it. And you can send these to all your past clients. You can go door knock and drop it off to them. You can put it in the mail to them. You don't want to do those things, but I would go out hand it out. There's so many things that you can do. Sit open houses. You could sit in open house every single day. Every single day. Sit in open house every single day. Here's the thing. You find a way. Be the solution. You're either going to find a way or create a way. But not having conversations is going to mean zero deals, zero closings, zero closings. And if you're not talking to people all day, what are you doing? There's nothing else to do but talk to people.
What are you doing? So what would you say to the agents that are doing, one phone call a week,
One phone
open
call a
house?
week, I think that you should hang up your license and get a job. Go and work at I don't know. Everybody, there's places though they all need cashiers. I don't know. This is reality. If you're calling one person a day, one person a week, you should not be in this industry. I made a post last week or so. I said, why are we coddling agents? Why are we coddling people and begging them to make phone calls? Grow. I don't say this. Don't take this the wrong way, but grow up. Grow up. Not to you, Lucy.
I know. Listen.
It's time to grow up.
That's why we're here.
We're not
the real raw reality.
We're not babysitters. I'm not running a daycare.
I tell people, if I had a daycare, you would be paying me every week to keep you company, right? Because it's expensive to have a daycare. But this is the reality, Maria. This is the reality of 95% of our industry at the national level. Listen, in 2024, I haven't looked at 2025 yet, but in 2024, 96% of agents had only closed 4 to 6 transactions. Like, this is insanity. And the thing is this, and you said it, 2026 is more challenging than all the past 15 years you've ever seen in real estate. Like, don't even think this is gonna get sunny and breezy. But here's what I want to say to everyone that's watching. You're hearing it straight from a pro that's in the trenches, someone that's doing the WORK, the work, someone that's pushing through the good days, the bad days, the fuzzy wuzzy fluffy feelings, and the moments when you just want to, like, break loose. Someone that's pushing through the challenge of this market. And you know what I think, Maria? We are living in a championship season. Like, you mentioned sports, right? You mentioned people that are in sports. And you know that there's seasons in sports, but there's one championship season when these people are going to go and play off to win the championship. And I really believe that's where we are in real estate right now. And not everybody's qualified to be a champion. But if you could just understand, this is my championship season, and I must think, walk, talk, perform, and act like that Olympic player. It's like, what are you doing? You rather go get a job and do for someone else what you're not willing to do for yourself? Really? You're willing to pay the price when you're 80 and you don't have enough money to live off of because you never built your financial freedom? Like, you either pay the price now or you're going to pay it later, but everybody's paying a price. Wouldn't you agree?
I would. I think that, momentum is built on boring days. Momentum is built on the days when nothing is happening. I did a video yesterday I shared on Facebook. I want people to understand, I go through the same things. I just choose to keep going. And I decided to be the best. I decided that a long time ago.
Yes.
To be the best. And so every day you show up regardless of your feelings. Your feelings don't matter in business. You want to take your kids to Disney? A lot of people around here do that. That's why I say that.
Mm-hmm.
Cost 15. You don't have the 15 grand? Shame on you. It's your own fault. Because here's the good news. I am where I am because it's my fault, and I'm not where I am because it's my fault. Looking in the mirror and saying, I own this. I own my outcome. And what am I going to do? I shared a story yesterday. I forget what year it was, but there was a 6-week period where I went on all these listings. This is when I would go to them in person. And nobody was signing. I didn't understand what was going on. And I didn't. No, I lost you there for a second. Nothing was going under contract, and there was no listings for 6 weeks. I was kind of freaking out, but I just kept going. And then after that 6 weeks, all this momentum happened. I got all these listings signed, things start pending. And that's the thing. Like, you got to get up every day and you start at zero. If you have a mindset, if you start at zero, I don't have any money in the bank. I don't have any deals. I got to make it happen daily.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there are people that don't have any money in the bank, which makes it even more critical that you get in the office, you get on the phone, you surround yourself with great people. Doing the work creates, see, here's the thing. When you help somebody, you help a family that maybe just had somebody in their family die. They have to sell the house. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to start. They've never sold a home before. Now they're the executor of the estate. And you're able to be there and help them and guide them. I call myself the guide. I'm the guide. Right? That's a good feeling. So use that feeling. Use that feeling. How many people can I impact?
Mm-hmm.
Who can I impact today? So I want to impact sellers. I want to impact agents. How can I impact? How can I give back? Right?
Right.
And if I can do it, you can too. You just have to want it. You just have to want enough.
So how many listings for you this year? What's your focus?
Well, the focus is to make sure that every listing sells.
Okay. That's a new challenge, especially for this year, right?
So as many that can sell, and having more conversations more often, having even greater I'm putting in other systems for touching, so that everybody make sure that the communication is clear where we are. But the commitment is to get to be at 200. I'm not trying to do too much more than that. 200 listings. Good. And as of right now, I'm behind.
But you just said it. You could go through a dry season, and as long as you keep showing up, the momentum always
That's the thing.
builds.
It's all about the appointments. It's all about the conversations. I can't control when they're going to come. They could a bunch of them could come in 1 month, and that would be very difficult for us to staff, but it's all okay. You think about it. I had some things, I wrote last year at the end of the year. Your calendar tells the truth. If it isn't scheduled, it isn't real. Protecting what's in your calendar, protecting the time that's the most important, is your lead follow-up time. In my case, lead generation, I've worked on lead generation for a very, very long time, so I have a very big pipeline of business. Know that this business, if you're a newer agent, know that this business takes years and years and years to build. And the number one thing that's most important is your reputation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Number one thing is your reputation. Not everyone may like me, but I tell the truth. I'm transparent. I give people, I don't tell them what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear. And pricing is a big part of that. Getting clear on your boundaries. Clarity is a form of self-respect.
Yes.
Clear on your boundaries. Clear no's, clear yeses. Don't be wishy-washy. Be clear. Be clear about what you want. Consistency beats intensity.
Yep.
So all day long. The greatness is within you if you choose to pull it out of you. And one of the things I see, unfortunately, is this victim mentality and wanting to blame somebody else for not having the results, or, oh, she's mean. She tells me to call people. I don't know. Lucy's mean. She tells me to call people.
Lucy doesn't understand me. I want to have a pity party, and she doesn't get me.
You're not a victim. We are not a victim. I am not a victim. I am not a victim. No. I will not blame other people for the things that I don't do. And yes, I make mistakes too. I'm a human.
Come on.
I'm not perfect. Yep. But I show up every day. I tell the truth. I lead with heart. I lead with honesty, integrity, passion, kindness.
Yes. Let's talk real quick in the couple minutes we have left. There's this thing there's two words. I make up these words just so I figure humans learn better when something is funny, and they remember it better too, right? That's why we all remember our ABCs, because it's a silly little song, and that's how we learned it. One deal-itis. Have you ever heard of one deal-itis? Somebody that finally got a deal, got one listing, got one buyer. Everything stops. They stop lead generating, lead incubating, lead cultivating. They stop open houses. They stop calling. They stop following up because they got one deal-itis. What do you say to these people?
That's a thing?
It is. It's a thing. Yes, it's a thing.
Scratching my head.
I know.
One deal.
One deal-itis. It's actually an epidemic. It's an epidemic. I see it. Why aren't you calling? No, because I got this one deal. Why aren't you prospecting? Because I got this one deal. And then the deal falls apart.
And then they're on Facebook saying, how do I make money? What can I do as a side hustle?
Or real estate doesn't work. I love that one. Real estate doesn't work. There's another one.
Because you're not working.
Exactly.
I would say this. Everybody has to have a CRM at this point. Every company gives you one. Yes. I would open up. The CRM doesn't lie. How many contacts did you make yesterday? And if you have no business, it should be 20 a day. In fact, you should be dialing 100, 200 people a day.
Yes.
This is
into people every day.
This is real. If I dialed 100 people a day, I couldn't do it because I have business. So I have to do the actual work on the listings, right? Preparing for the appointment. Whenever I did 100 dial a day challenge, which I've done, it was chaotic because dialing all those people, talking to all those people, I get assignments. Assignment means a possible listing. Right. So I use my numbers as I like to have 20 conversations a day, even at this level, 10 solid ones at minimum, but 20 a day. I always say this, 100 conversations a week.
100 conversations a week. Ooh.
100 conversations a week. And if you break it down, it takes like 3.5 hours a day.
Right. I want to help the people out there that are saying, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. But I just can't, I'm not doing it. And I can't figure out why.
Wow. Can't figure out why. I would ask myself if I really want to be in the business. I would ask myself, do I really want to do this? Because HGTV, Real Estate Millionaire, and all this nonsense shows have made it seem like it's glamorous. And it's definitely, I could tell you, it is no glamour. It's not glamorous. Maybe it's glamorous if you're only doing 5 deals a year at $2 million, $3 million. Maybe that's glamorous, but most of us don't live in those marketplaces. So it's not glamorous. It's work. And it takes persistence, commitment, consistency. I don't care if you don't want to talk to people you don't know, then you need to talk to people that you do know.
Mhm.
I just know that most people don't know enough people to make a living. Most people don't have a sphere of influence enough to make a living in real estate.
You know, you live in Philadelphia where it's freezing. The last time I was on your podcast, it was beautiful looking at it through the window, but it was full of
Snowing.
snow. I live in Florida where it's always sunny. I mean, cold for us is like 40, like it's 40 and we're all like ready to, freeze. Um, but I don't know if it's the air, but our real estate industry is so laid back. I mean, when you hear people doing one open house a week, I don't understand it, but it's a reality, and it's not just far and few between. Like the majority of agents just do one open house a week. What do you say to that?
I would say that open houses work if you work them. And hosting just one open house a week isn't going to change your business. It's only 2 hours or 3 hours, however long you do them there. Ours are 2 hours here. Usually,
Yeah, 2 hours.
ours are.
30 minutes to put up the signs, 30 minutes to take off the signs, and 2 hours at the property that you can easily use to prospect, to lead generate.
I mean, I would do, if I didn't have business, I would do an open house every single day. Vacant listings. Ask somebody in your office, can I set the open house? Can I promote it? Can I put it on social? Can I do a video there? What can I do? Where there's a will, there's a way. Good enough is okay. You don't need to be great. You just need to be good enough at the moment, because the repetition of doing the work will make you great.
Yes.
But you have to just do the work, right? You have to, I call it smiling and dialing. Who we calling today? Who we calling today?
Who we're going to talk to? Who we're going to call? Somebody. Right?
Yeah, there's something that happened after a pandemic that made people want to work less.
Yes.
Because these conversations today are worse than they were 10 years ago with people not wanting to work.
Mm-hmm.
I came from, I learned how to make phone calls when I was 22, 23 years old in radio sales.
Mm-hmm.
I had to call 100 people to get 10 appointments or more. I mean, the change when I went to real estate, it was so much easier because more people could use my product, the house, right? They could use my services. In radio advertising, how many people can buy radio? Only business people.
Right.
I used to get thrown out of places because
they didn't want to buy your commercials or your
they were like, you're back again. I'm like that little dog who's like on your leg and it's stuck there and it's on it's biting your pants.
Real estate is the easiest thing to sell to someone because if they are not looking to buy or sell, they know somebody.
Yes, everybody knows somebody. Everybody knows somebody. So it's like, okay, what do I, looking at your life, what do I want for my life? What do I want to be? How much money do I want to make? What can I do? I made I don't know if the office sent it to you, but I can send the link. I have a free download for anybody that wants it. Get more listings now.
Okay.
Hate it. It's actually there's a
Yeah,
link
send it to
for it.
us and we'll share it. We'll
Yeah,
share
it's a
it.
whole book, little like
Okay.
about 10 pages. Get more listings now. And it's free. You just download it.
Good.
I have my book coming out at the end of May.
Good
So
for
it's
you.
finishing up now.
And I know I want to do some exciting things with you. Like as you're speaking, I'm envisioning when you come to Naples, Florida, I want to invite you to the Academy to see a phenomenal community of real estate agents, team leaders, and brokers that have become part of Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp. And that I am determined, I am 1000% determined to help those that are willing rise up, right? Find their best maximum potential in real estate, because real estate changed my life. And I really believe that um, if not real estate, then what? What are
And
you going
what?
to do? There's no better business than real estate. There's no business that's going to give you the opportunities that real estate gives you. You know, the ability that real estate gives you, the connections. Look at us, right? You're in Philadelphia, I'm in Florida, and we connected through masterminds that we went to with John Cheplack and things like that. And now we can dream of doing big things together when you come down to Southwest Florida. And I know you have also a course that you're putting together. Tell us about that and where people could follow you, because obviously I want to do big things with you, Maria. I admire you.
Yes.
I
So
admire you, and you speak my lingo, girl.
So it's a listing accelerator course. It's going to come out when the book comes out. So it's all going to be launched together, which is coming up. I can't believe it. I was actually working on last night on the book cover and how I'm going to record it on Kindle and all that great stuff. So the listing accelerator course, if they click the download, then they'll be able to get the information, because I'll be sending out emails about the course, about the book, about the launch and all that. So they'll be able to connect. They'll be able to connect with me through the More Listings Now download.
Yes, and you've got the product, I've got the people, and I think together we can make an impact, because definitely you've got to list to last. If you list, you exist. If
If
you
you
don't,
list,
you
you
won't.
exist.
If you
It's
list,
always
you
about
exist.
listings.
Yes, if you list, you exist. If you don't, you won't. And this is the best comeback moment for anybody in real estate that says, you know what, it's do or die. It's championship season.
It's
Maria,
championship season. And I'm ready.
let's go. I could hear I could hear the Rocky song. Yes.
Woo!
Let's go win, Maria. Thank you so much
I'm ready to win. Let's go.
for your presence.
Yep.
And anybody that wants the guide, DM me listings, and we'll send you Maria's link to the guide. And I know we're going to be doing big things together, Maria. This was amazing. Thank you so much. I will see you.
My pleasure. Always, anytime.
And go get him, Maria.
Let's go have a great rest of the week.
Yes. All right, guys. See you on the next Agents in the Trenches. Ciao.